22-year-old Josh Strang completed his long journey from Australia to the United States when he won last year's Can-Am Grand National Cross Country Championship. But the best off-road riders in the world are ready to challenge him again. Can he defend? Stay tuned. Welcome to Racer TV for 2011. It's the Can-Am Grand National Cross Country Series kickoff for bikes. Hope you enjoyed the ATV show. If you're ever to check that out, we're going to switch from 4 wheels to 2, change the names, change the equipment, but not change the way we run the race. We're at the Westgate River Ranch just outside of Lake Wales, Florida, and we've set up an awesomely brutal sand track for the best off-road racers in the world to challenge for 3 hours. Lots of names and faces switching to new teams, new colors this year. We'll give you the full breakdown on that as this race unfolds. But for now, we're going to focus on the familiar faces. Krista Shaw is down with the pits with the man who won the championship 2 years ago, Paul Whibley.
Paul Whibley won his first championship back in 2009. He struggled a little bit in 2010, but won a couple races at the end of the season. Paul, do you think you can carry that momentum into 2011?
I hope so. We've been training pretty hard in the off-season in New Zealand and working on the bike setup, and things are looking pretty good, so hopefully I can kind of carry that momentum through and at least, if not get a win today, get up on that podium again and have a good start to the season.
Some big news over the off-season. Charlie Mullins switched from Yamaha to KTM for 2011. Charlie, how are things working out with the KTM crew?
You know, it's been good. You know, the switch, you know, it was pretty smooth and, you know, got adjusted to the bike, and you know, the team's been great, been working hard, got a couple test sessions in, so, you know, it's I'm ready to go.
Josh, a lot of previous racers might agree that it's not an easy task to defend your first title. Do you think you're up for the challenge?
Yeah, I definitely am. I mean, I wouldn't be here if I wasn't, so I'm excited to finally get racing. I mean, it's been 4 months since I've been out, last GNCC, so finally get here in Florida and get to racing. I'm really excited to get the FMF Makita Suzuki 450 out on the track and hopefully up front.
All right, well, it sounds like you're ready. Good luck.
Thanks.
Well, everyone says they're ready at the season opener. We're going to find out who actually is in a moment. A couple of our buddies from the GNCC series in Japan over here. Corey Buttrick, the super sophomore, joined by a veteran Mike Brown, former motocross champ. Going to race with us today. There's Billy Morris from Warrant. Billy won his amateur class this morning and then plays a national anthem. Now it's time to get quiet and get set to go racing in the pro class. Paul Whibley going to lead him on the number 3. Strang too far outside, and Whibley on the Pro FMF Yamaha leads them around. That's how you want to start the year off right. Mullins right with him. Don't let Mullins number 112 fool you. He was second in the series last year. He takes the lead from Whibley. Strang right behind him. So the big 3 from last year's title chase are off to the races. Running in the top 3 so far. Look at how much dust you have on this course. Well, or don't look at it. You pretty much can't see anything. So imagine what it's like to be riding if you don't have a good start. We'll go back to the starting line for the XC2 class. Now the big story here is that last year's XC2 champion, Caleb Russell, has moved up. He's racing XC1. In his absence, Andrew DeLong, new kid to the series, grabs the whole shot, and a bunch of riders go down. Here is DeLong fighting his way through the sand, and I'll tell you, it's very tempting to go full bore here right off the start and push the pace. But this smooth Florida terrain in the first couple of corners is totally deceptive. The rest of this track is absolutely brutal, and that's what's going to really push these guys. Mullins taking off early on his brand new FMF KTM ride. Got Strang back there in second. Mike Brown up to third. And that is Garrett Embiston, a local boy, privateer, done good here early on, running in the top 4. Then it's Bad Thad Duval in the top 5. Strang has taken the lead from Mullins. We saw these two duke it out a lot last year, and looks like we're going to see more of it in 2011. Emiston is a sand specialist. He is up to third. Duval fourth. Brown dropping back just a bit to the number 5 spot. And then we have Mike Lafferty, veteran from New Jersey, multi-time national enduro champ. Good to see him back in the GNCCs. Strang maintains the lead with Mullins right on his wheel. We got a treat for you, though. Barry Hawk, 8-time GNCC champ, has retired. It's good for us. He's going to come down to the races, run the helmet cam, and this is what it's like to chase Josh Strang through the Palmettos in Florida. Look out, here comes Mullins. We'll be right back. And a Suzuki leading the way, but for how long? Charlie Mullins right behind on his KTM, chasing Josh Strang, and it sure feels like these two are just feeling each other out. Garrett Edmiston in third, right behind them. Then it's Thad Duval, then Mike Brown. A little bit further back, you still have Lafferty on the Husaberg. And in 3 hours, especially in these brutal conditions, as we now see Duval and Brown up to third and fourth, pushing Edmiston back a little bit. Lafferty comes through next, so Edmiston must have made a mistake. You got to conserve some energy. You can't go all out. This is a marathon, not a sprint. You can kind of see it in the riding styles of the leaders. They're obviously going fast or leading the race, but this is not as aggressive as they can be. They will push it further as the day goes on. But it's a long race day, and you want to stay in contention. There's Jimmy Jarrett on the Geico JG Racing Honda. Good to see him. Caleb Russell, we mentioned him, the 2-time champ of our XC2 class for 250s, now riding a KTM 350 here in the XC1 Pro Division. Mullins chose to ride the KTM 450 this year, and it's working. He's pulling away a bit. Strang, Duval, Brown, Lafferty, and Chris Bach on the Beta. Chris Bach, a lot of question marks about him. Was a rookie and a privateer here last year and nearly beat Strang for the race win. Factory Beta team was happy about that. They've picked him up this year. That bike is totally unproven, and no one knows what to expect, but so far he is running with the leaders. As you watch Brown zero in on Strang for second, Duval hanging right with them. And another glimpse of that Beta. Bach, young kid out of Indiana, has gotten around Lafferty. Then you have Jarrett. And you can hear the revs on that 350 with Russell. Into the pits we go. We actually have an airport runway serving as the pit lane here. A rare opportunity for these riders to rest. And again, if you're looking at them saying, I think they can go faster than that. Well, trust me, when you're out there pounding sand whoops for about a half hour and you get a 30-second break like this in the pavement, you appreciate every one of those 30 seconds. Now back to pounding in the woods. And Brown is on the move. He has caught Mullins, and he wants to make something happen. Brown, the 2001 AMA 125 National Motocross Champion. He's won the Works Series Championship out west and occasionally races the GNCCs. Brown is a racer's racer. Doesn't matter where, when, how. He wants to go fast. And he's making the KTMs look good. Their two 450s are 1-2. And with Russell hovering on the top 5 on the 350, that's impressive. Their other rider, Corey Buttrick, was down in turn 1, and he is just getting back into the top 10. Right now, Brown versus Mullins, and I think Brown is the man on the move, and in fact, he takes the lead. Wow, Brown not messing around. What strategy is going to play out? I would say this, Brown is in as good a shape as anyone. However, the 3-hour format, he is not quite as familiar as these other riders, so he's going to lay waste right now and pull away. And I think Mullins is going to play the strategy game and hope it works out in the end, but that's not a guarantee. As much as Brown doesn't know the 3-hour format, the other riders don't know Brown. And he might just be able to maintain this pace all the way to the end. We watch Strang, Bach, and Duval. This is a make-or-break season for Duval. He won the XC2 championship a couple of years ago, and his 2 years in the XC1 class have been pretty much disastrous. Lots of bad luck, crashes, injuries. We go back to Brown here pulling away from the rest of the pack. Duval needs to prove he can be consistent, yet at the same time, his trademark was that he could go faster than anyone in spurts, and he needs to find a way to balance those two elements. The results the last 2 years just have not been there, so we will see if it's a new season for Duval. As Bach comes through on the Beta. Here's Duval. He's gotten around Strang. That's a good sign. Kind of surprised to see Strang go backwards. These Palmetto sections, it's so hard to set the bike up for this track. These are like riding over bricks or cobblestones or curbs. The complete opposite of the rounded sand whoops that make up the majority of this track. So you're basically making a compromise. Your bike works in some sections, not going to work well here. And then you got to play the strategy game. You've got to factor in pit stops, fitness. There's a lot to calculate. Stay tuned. Well, the cool thing about GNCC Racing is we have classes for everyone and every machine. So if you have a four-wheeled ATV, even one you'd be riding down on the farm like these utility machines, come and join us at the races. Classes for novices, for women, for youth riders. Same thing for the bikes. Classes for riders as young as 7 all the way up to 60 plus. So if you got a hankering for some off-road racing, come and do it. You don't have to go out there and beat Josh Strang, Charlie Mullins, and the rest. You just got to be able to conquer these very rough racetracks. Here's the upcoming schedule. Mike Brown. Man, it is fun to watch this guy do his thing. So let's hop on board with Barry Hawk and follow Brown and show you just the kind of pace that you have to run to lead at GNCC. And Brown gets sideways. Hawk has to actually let out of it, and that's tough in the sand. You maintain your pace and stay on top of those big sand whoops. It's not that tough, but if you start dropping into the middle of those, oh, so rough. So it's really hard to figure the right strategy out. You go too fast, you use all your energy. You go too slow, you actually use more. Somewhere maybe in that 90th percentile that you want to be able to maintain all day as Brown heads into the FMF KTM pits to fuel up, get some advice. That's the team manager, Antti Kallinen, on the right. Looks back, doesn't see anybody. Brown's got to feel good. Bach is up to second. How about this? What a debut for the factory beta effort, brand new for 2011. But I've got some bad news for the beta team. They are going to have to work very hard as they are developing this new bike. They do not yet have an oversized fuel tank. So he is stopping in the pits along with Mullins, Brown, Duvall, and the rest right now. There's going to be a few more laps before most of these guys have to get more gas. But Bach, we believe, is going to have to stop every lap. So he's going to have to work extra hard. All this effort he has put in to get into second and get past Mullins, and all Mullins has to do is sit on his wheel until we get to the pits the next time around. But if you get a brand new motorcycle underneath you and you're coming up in the number 2 spot and you get around Charlie Mullins, who cares about the extra gas stops? You have proven that that bike is fast. And they'll have a new gas tank, I'm sure, before long. Bach is legit. He has put distance between himself and Mullins. And look, Duvall up to third. So Mullins having a bit of a lull here at mid-race. And if you're wondering, by the way, where is Paul Whibley, the man who got the whole shot? Well, unbelievable. About a mile into this race, he smacked a tree and ripped the radiator off of his bike. Luckily, that section of the course where he hit the tree, the pits weren't too far away, so he limped the bike into the pits. They swapped out the radiator. He went back to the track where he originally exited. Whibley is way back in the pack, but hoping to maybe get into the top 20 today and just score some points. So it's up to Duvall to represent that AmPro FMF Yamaha squad today. He's doing a good job in the top 3. There is Mike Brown. He is a bad dude, and he's got a lead of about 15 seconds right now over Bach. I'll tell you what, this is a fun way to go racing, though. It's brutal to push the pace for 3 hours. But for a lot of people, this is a racing vacation. If you're up north, buried in the snow in the winter, come down here, tear up trails like this in the sunshine. It's a good way to get in shape. Really just a good way to enjoy a little working vacation. It's all business for these riders, but we've got 1,400 amateurs riding this weekend. It's all about fun for those guys. For someone like Bach, an Indiana native who has been stationed down here in Florida getting ready, he wants to go for the win, make some money. Stay with us. Time for the stretch run at the Moose Racing River Ranch GNCC. Mike Brown leads, but check out the DWT leaderboard. Charlie Mullins has rallied. He has moved up to the number 2 position, and his last lap around was one of his fastest in the race. He's 21 seconds behind Brown as Brown heads into the pits for fuel one last time. It's our GNCC Women's Champ, Maria Forsberg there on the left, pouring some water onto Brown's back to try to help keep him cool. Hard to stay cool, though, because he is about to be under fire from Mullins. There's Mullins into the pits. That's his dad there on the right, yelling, screaming, trying to encourage him. That was a nice quick stop. Anyway, Mullins was 40 seconds faster than Brown the last lap around. He's 21 seconds behind now with 1 to go. And I wonder if Brown is maybe a little bit spent. We mentioned how strong and how fast he went early in this race, where Mullins played it conservatively, and I think Mullins is right where he wants to be. So is this man, Chris Bach. If he can put that Beta on the podium in its first race ever, shoot, we might have to start calling it an alpha. Fourth is Strang, not where he wanted to be today. All right, we're into the mud, and Mullins has caught Brown. Brown to look over his shoulder, and Brown takes a bad line. He goes to the right. Mullins taking his chances. It's deep down there, but he did not get stuck, and he does take the lead. So Brown played it conservative. He tried to go around the mud, and he lost the lead. And now Mullins just needs to sprint to the finish. And like we said, it is a marathon more than a sprint. This little kick at the end, it's all relative. It's not a motocross track. It's not a supercross track. It is a brutal, nasty 12-mile off-road loop. We've already got, 2 hours and 45 minutes in the books, and it's amazing that Mullins is able to go this fast, this late in the game. Been working very hard with his trainer, Rob Beams of Moto Endurance during the off-season, peaking for this one. It's paying off. Good ride also here by Bach in third. Oh, now Mullins has got to deal with those palmettos. Like we said, set the bike up for the sand whoops easily, but it's very tough to set it up for the palmettos and the whoops together. There's Brown just trying to nurse his way through. I think you can tell by the riding style, the body language, he does not have the same fire he did earlier in this race. Brown's 38 years old. Hey, what an effort for the old guys. Gonna crush the vet class today, I guarantee you that. There's Bach. Indiana native, has proven to be a sand specialist here the last few years. But meanwhile, stretch run, no stopping Charlie Mullins. A great ride down on the last lap, making up the ground and beating Mike Brown. Brown has nothing to be ashamed of. He doesn't race this series full time to come out on the podium. KTM is going to be very, very happy. And the shocker, Beta on the box in their first ever race. Let's go down to Krista.
All right, another podium finish for you here at River Ranch. Take us through the race.
It was good. It was just it was a long day. You know, I crashed in the second turn, and I went all the way back to like second to last or something. There's so many guys in front of me, so dusty, and it was all I could do to get up front. And then I got up front, and I think I just went a little too hard too early this time, and just kind of ran out of steam there the last 2 laps. And I was able to stay up front, which is good, but just didn't have enough for these guys.
Well, how's the new bike working out for you?
The Beta's good. You know, it was obviously good enough to get up on the box. I think it's good enough to get a win soon, too.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good to see Bach and Beta are going to be players this year. Nice run for Nate Canny, top 5, and Whibley recovers from his lap 1 problems to take 9th. Let's go back to the podium.
Mike Brown, I know you like to race your occasional GNCC. Did you ever think the race would end up like it did today?
No, not for sure. You know, I don't think I was in the greatest shape coming here, and that's why I'm here, just to kind of get in shape for, you know, my series back west. And I'm happy with second. You know, that last lap was tough, and you know, Charlie had a momentum going and caught me off guard and just went by me, and that was it really. But you know, I want to say thanks to FMF KTM and my mechanic Alan Gravett, and no, it's a good day. You know, I'm happy to be up here.
And KTM has even more things to be happy about. 16-year-old Stuart Baylor wins the XC2 class over Jason Thomas and Jesse Robinson. Krista has our overall race winner on the box.
Charlie Mullins with the win here today at River Ranch. Charlie, it looks like things are going to work out pretty good with you and KTM.
Yeah, you know, the bike, not much more to say. It was awesome. And, you know, the first half of the race, you know, I got a good start, and, you know, I was leading and, you know, kind of draw back a little bit. And, you know, Brownie, he passed me, and he was going pretty fast. And, you know, I figured if he held that pace, you know, he deserved it. And, you know, last lap, you know, I could see him and just put a pass on him on one of those mud holes and, you know, put my head down for the win. And, you know, I'm pumped.
Well, congratulations on a great race today.
All right, thanks.
Well, these guys are pumped. but they are also spent. This was a tough one. Check it out, the Suzuki Race Recap. Paul Whibley had the whole shot, yielded to Josh Strang. Mullins took the lead, yielded to Mike Brown, and Mike Brown took off. Set a blistering pace early on. Chris Bach would be a factor running for a podium on his Beta. We saw Thad Duvall up there earlier. He ripped some components off the side of his bike. Last 2 laps, Mullins put on a strong charge, managed to get around Mike Brown here in the mud, and he would take the lead and not be toppled. Brown would hold on for 2nd, Bach 3rd, Strang 4th, Nate Canny a good ride for 5th. The Yamaha boys hope to rebound from their bad luck at the next one. But I'll tell you what, everyone's going to have their hands full with Charlie Mullins this year. He made a statement today. For Krista Shaw, I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for watching.